All right, today we're diving into a story that kicks off with this quiet but absolutely devastating betrayal, and it ends with an incredible act of reclaiming one's life. It's this really powerful story about perception, control, and the kind of strength people find when they are just completely underestimated. And this is where it all starts, with this single, chilling sentence from the story's main character, Helen. I mean, can you just imagine being in her position, motionless in your favorite armchair, and you're listening to the two people you trust the most in the world literally plan your disappearance from your own life? Because that's really what this whole thing is about. You see, Helen's children, Daniel and Laura, they looked at their 78-year-old mother, and they just saw someone who was fading away, someone easy to manage. They could not have been more wrong. So let's get right into it, the moment that just shatters Helen's world and really sets her on an entirely new path. This is the betrayal in whispers. The scene is just, wow, it's so tense. Helen is pretending to be asleep, her breathing slow and even, while her kids are moving around her, just so confident that she's completely oblivious. They see her as an object, a problem that needs to be handled, not as a person who is right there, aware of everything. Now, what's really striking here is just how calculated their plan is. This wasn't some off-the-cuff idea. No, they're talking about specific legal forms, the house, her savings. They have clearly thought this through, and their entire plan is banking on this assumption that she's just not competent anymore. And this line, oof, this is the one that really cuts deep. It's the casual cruelty in it, the dismissiveness. They're not just talking about her money. They're talking about her life as if it's already over, like it's just this little inconvenience standing between them and what they want. And this is where everything changes. The small recorder her grandson Jacob had given her, to capture old family memories, it becomes her most powerful weapon. In that exact moment, the entire power dynamic in that room just flips, even though only Helen knows it. Okay, on to section 2. An old woman awakens. And we're not just talking about waking up from a nap here. This is about her waking up from a lifelong delusion she had about her own family. And you can see the change is it's instant and it's profound. The woman who went to sleep feeling like some fragile victim wakes up with this cold, crystal clear recognition of her reality. All that fear and sorrow, it's replaced by this quiet, solid determination. She isn't fragile anymore. She is wide awake. Just listen to the kind of language he's been putting up with. Her daughter Laura's words are coded in this fake concern, but the message underneath is loud and clear. You're not capable. Let us handle it. It's a classic, textbook example of treating an elder like a child, but disguising it as care. But then you have her grandson, Jacob, and it's a completely different story. He doesn't see her as a burden. He sees her as a person who is capable and who absolutely deserves respect and protection. His unwavering belief in her becomes this quiet anchor for her throughout this whole journey. So what does Helen do? She doesn't just get mad. She gets strategic. This next part is all about how she methodically takes back control, using the very same tools, paperwork, and the law that her children were planning to use against her. And this is her first big move. She doesn't confront her kids. She doesn't make some big dramatic scene. No, she gathers her evidence and she goes to get professional legal advice. She walks into that lawyer's office not as a victim, but as a client with a very clear goal. And just look at this strategy. It's brilliant. Every single step is a deliberate move to build a fortress around her life and her independence. From revoking access to creating an irrevocable trust, she is systematically closing every single door her children have been using to control her. This quote from her late husband becomes her North Star. She finally realizes that for years, without even knowing it, she had handed her children leverage over her. And now she's taking that leverage back, not for wealth, but for the fundamental control over her own life. Which brings us to the climax of the story. All of Helen's quiet, careful preparation leads to this one unavoidable confrontation. The reckoning, right there in her own kitchen. And that's really the big challenge, isn't it? Daniel and Laura have built this whole story around their mother's decline. They've ignored the truth for so long that they just don't see it anymore. So how on earth does she break through that? The answer? It's so simple and so brutal. There's no argument, no pleading, just the undeniable evidence of their own voices, their own intentions, filling up the silence in that room. So what's amazing here is Helen's composure. When Daniel tries to wriggle out of it, to deny reality, her response is just two words: I was awake. It's this statement that reclaims not just that one moment, but her entire presence, her awareness. And then she drops the bomb. Their plan is useless. She's already acted. And with that, we're in the final act. This isn't about some dramatic family fallout, though. It's about a quiet, profound victory for the self. This one word right here, intactness, it's the whole point. Helen's goal was never to punish her children. It was to restore her own sense of wholeness, to feel unimpaired by their greed and their underestimation. She wasn't fighting them. She was fighting for herself, to stay intact. And this slide just brings it all home, doesn't it? The full circle of her transformation is right there. The woman who started the story pretending to sleep can now finally truly rest. She's no longer just a person to be managed. She's a woman who has reclaimed her life and is, once again, completely whole. And Helen's final thought on all of this is just so powerful. For her, this wasn't about destroying her family, but about destroying an illusion. Seeing them clearly without the filter of hope or denial was an act of honesty. For them, sure, but most importantly, for herself. And that's really the question this story leaves us with, isn't it? Helen drew a line in the sand, not to attack anyone, but to preserve her own dignity. It's just a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest act of love is the respect we finally give to ourselves.